Hello everyone, Guardian E here with an analysis and breakdown of the latest upgrade to Hinoka in Fire Emblem Heroes. Now with the latest update came a number of interesting refinement options for some older characters to buff them back into relevancy. For Warrior Princess Hinoka, this meant the addition of a legendary weapon called Hinoka's Spear. Now before we talk about Hinoka's Spear, let's go ahead and refresh ourselves on Hinoka's current stat spread within the game. At neutral, Hinoka sports 41 HP, 35 attack, 32 speed, 25 defense, and 24 resistance. This basically makes her an effective Brave Lance user with slightly lower speed than Cordelia, but with higher defensive stats. As a result, Hinoka has been mostly relegated to being a weaker offensive Cordelia in hybrid teams, while on flyer teams, the difference becomes negligible once you start stacking flyer buffs. But what this meant for Hinoka is that she had a difficult time differentiating herself from the vast pool of Lance flyers that were currently in the game, despite being a 5-star exclusive character. Hinoka's Lance, also known as Hinoka's Crimson Naginata, was a C-rank weapon in Fire Emblem Fates that reduced defense and resistance by 1, while increasing Avoid by 10. Now this led some people to believe that the Fire Emblem Heroes translation of the weapon would have a built-in life and death, to increase her overall offensive power at the sacrifice of some defensive stats. Let's take a look at how Fire Emblem Heroes translated this classic weapon. Hinoka's Spear features 16 might, which puts it in line with similar legendary weapons. While this really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, it is nice to be able to confirm. Hinoka's Spear also comes with a built-in self-goad. As long as Hinoka is within 2 spaces of an infantry or flyer ally, she herself gets a +4 boost to both her attack and speed, greatly enhancing her own offensive prowess. When stacked with goads from her allies, this provides Hinoka a +16 boost to both her attack and speed that can't be panic-ployed and will ignore the effects of weapons like Mula-gear. Hinoka's Spear also sports a built-in guidance effect for both flyers and infantry. This allows units to swoop next to her as long as they're within 2 spaces, and further synergizes with her inherent goad ability. It's an incredibly powerful movement option. This alone differentiates Hinoka from a bevy of Flying Lance users, in that Hinoka can now run as a crazy support build that greatly increases the mobility options of her flyer friends, or in a flyer-infantry hybrid team. Further, she can be an enormous boon to any infantry-based team, enhancing their movement capabilities. She is the only unit that can do this for both flyers and infantry, as guidance is typically not flyer-enabled. Let's take a look at an example build. Hinoka's overall more balanced stat spread lends itself to Fury in the A slot with the Naginata, boosting both her defenses and offensive power. Reposition is a flyer staple, and is certainly the case for Hinoka as well. The special is more flexible. If you have a plus defense Hinoka, you could opt to run Bonfire, but otherwise she favors having Draconic Aura in her wings, as it will work well with her relatively strong base attack and synergizes with flyer buffs. Flyer Formation, when combined with the native effects of Hinoka's Spear, creates an enormous boost to overall flyer mobility in Fire Emblem Heroes. This allows flyers to teleport across the map, reposition to safety, or reposition offensively, and make their movements far more difficult to predict. Hone Flyers should remain as her excellent C-slot skill. For her seal, you can run Heavy Blade, which will allow her to proc Draconic Aura on the first physical engagement. At neutral, Hinoka reaches 51 attack with Hinoka's Spear. Fury gets her up to 54, and stacking goads with the self-goad effect will push Hinoka's attack all the way up to 66, handily activating Heavy Blade. Or you could slap on a Fortify Defense or Fortify Res Seal. If you decide to go with the Fortify Defense or Fortify Res Seal, she will boost Flying Blade Tome users by a whopping 22 attack and 6 speed all by herself. So, speaking of Blade Tome flyers, who pairs best with the fresh new Hinoka? Sanaki is a natural pairing for Hinoka, as her legendary weapon Refinement grants allies within 2 spaces a +3 attack during combat, essentially giving a drive attack effect. But it also grants Sanaki +5 attack and +5 resistance during combat if she's within 2 spaces of a flying ally, which means that Tsunaki can utilize Hinoka's built-in guidance effect to teleport across the map and buff herself. Previously mentioned flying mages that can utilize blade tomes such as Spring Camilla, Summer Corrin, and Halloween Noe are monsters when paired with Hinoka. Not only do they get absurd boosts to their weapons, but the additional mobility provided by Hinoka's spear allows them to nuke from surprising distances. Offensive powerhouse flyers like Elincia and New Year's Camilla will greatly appreciate the flyer guidance effect to let them swoop in for the kill. And that concludes my breakdown and analysis of the fresh new Hinoka with her shiny new weapon. I, for one, am incredibly excited for how this will impact flyer teams as a whole, and I think this creates new and creative ways to strategize with them. What do you think? How are you planning on using Hinoka now, if at all? Let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help us out a lot. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, protect those skies.